Why is the incidence of autoimmune gluten increasing? In the last 50 years, it's quadrupled. Why are more people feeling better even if they don't have positive laboratory diagnosis of an issue with gluten, but they avoid it? They feel a whole lot better. What's going on? Who's at risk of gluten issues, and how do we start decreasing those risks? First of all, it appears as though mother's milk has in it prebiotic sugars and very healthy probiotics like bifidus bacteria that help colonize the infant's GI tract and then make infants less resistant to having problems with gluten. In fact, Scandinavian governments have recommended that mothers only introduce gluten if they're still breastfeeding because this lowers the incidence of adverse reactions to gluten. And it turns out that not all breast milk is equal. Who would have thunk? But breast milk from very obese or overweight women does not have the same healthy elements in it that thinner women do. Also, cesarean births. If a mother has a child with cesarean birth, then the child is not seeded with the bifidus bacteria from the vaginal canal of the mom. Boy, it's more details upon other details. But what is the message of all of that for us? That if we take probiotics with bifidus in them, we have a better microbial environment that helps us handle gluten a little bit more. But it also appears that an inflamed gut will be less likely to have a healthy microbial environment, which then makes us more reactive to gluten. So we want to make sure that we're removing other components that would play a role into an inflamed versus an uninflamed gut, like proper digestive enzymes or other food issues or intolerances that we haven't yet identified. We do know that our wheat and wheat-related grains have been hybridized, and they contain a lot more gluten in them, and we consume diets that are rather monotonous in how much and how frequently we consume gluten. But in studies comparing the Finns to the Russians, we don't think necessarily, it ain't necessarily so that it's just an issue of more gluten-containing grains causing a higher adverse response to glutens. We think that the Russians that consume a lot more gluten-containing foods than the Finns, they live way out in the wilds, this group of Russians that they were researching, and they're exposed to a lot more diverse microbial bugs. It's funny that the human genome people that were studying the human genome went for their next project, the Human Microbiota Project, taking a look at the bugs that live in us and on us because they have such a huge effect with our health. Well, it turns out that more friendly bugs in our gut help us handle gluten better than unfriendly bugs in our gut. And the way we're birthed, the way we breastfeed, how healthy we are when we breastfeed, all of those play a role too. But you can take pre and probiotics in a supplement, but remember to get quality supplements from companies that have every single batch tested by an independent outside laboratory. So ask that when you're purchasing a product. How good is this company and how often are they checked? So you can see the issue of gluten has many little components to it that we're only going to learn more and more.